This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. It is a well-known fact that James Mercer Langston Hughes is one of the most influential voices of the Harlem Renaissance. Many of his texts reflect the importance of human experience and the culture of his era. Langston Hughes's mother-to-son poem is a powerful message that a mother conveys to her child as instruction and moral support. This paper aims to analyze the poem and discuss how the use of literary elements contributes to building a complex message in the text. Analysis. The essence of the poem revolves around the idea that life is not a crystal staircase for the main heroine, who is the speaker, and she warns her child about it. Also, the poem explains that life is not an adventure or a journey that should be taken for the sake of self-knowledge but exhausting work and extended, tedious walking. The mother's instruction encourages the son to continue walking and not give up despite the possible obstacles he might encounter. Notably, in the first line, the mother directly addresses her child and encourages him to listen to her. "Well, son, I'll tell you." The manner of speaking is informal, which implies that the relationship is close but also that the conversation will take work. The second line, "Life for me ain't been no crystal stair," immediately reveals the main message of the conversation. The woman warns her child that life has never been easy for her. In the third line, the woman compares her life path to someone else's for whom it was easier to live. For the mother, her life path was full of splinters and boards were torn up, which is directly indicated in the fourth and fifth lines. It may be assumed that fear was one of the dominating feelings for the woman, and each new step made on the staircase could bring something new of which to be afraid. In addition, the following lines imply that the woman has had no support at some points in her life because sometimes the floor is bare. The mother says to her son that there have always been instances when she had no support, accompanied by poor living conditions, no carpet, so her journey was a struggle. Interestingly, starting from the eighth line, the mood changes slightly. The woman tells her son that, despite the complexities faced, but all the time, she is moving forward. "I've been a climbin' on." She wants her son to continue climbing the metaphorical stairs and accept the lessons life has prepared for him. Then the mother describes her landings. Whenever she was reaching landings, she would make a turn or take some time to relax. In lines 12 and 13, she still warns her child that sometimes she has to continue walking in places with no light, but she is not afraid of this. It may be assumed that the woman wants her son to be strong and ready to face the possible threats the stairs may offer. It is impossible to say if the mother was the first to climb the stairs in the darkness or if she was one of the many people doing this. Every reader needs to interpret these two lines according to their worldview. Further on, the woman wants to make sure the son is listening to her attentively, so she addresses him directly. "So boy, don't you turn back." She wants to make sure he does not turn back despite the adversities of life and the possible oppression. She tries to warn him that there is nothing down the staircase that could help him overcome the dangerous steps, so he simply needs to continue climbing up. Then she continues instructing and advising him not to sit down on the steps because this will not help solve any problem but only complicate the setting. In the most difficult situations, the son needs to pull himself in hand and overcome his fears instead of taking a break. In line 17, the woman also warns her child that the higher he gets, the more dangerous it becomes to fall down, so he needs to be careful and cautious. The stairs are full of obstacles, splinters, and broken boards, and it is likely that the higher he gets, the more challenges emerge. Therefore, he needs to be careful about the choices he makes to ensure some of those obstacles are prevented. Importantly, the last three lines of the final stanza conclude the central message of the talk between a mother and a child. The woman states that she still chooses to continue her difficult journey despite having had enough challenges and limitations. She is still climbin', and she also wants her son to never give up. She repeats that her life ain't been no crystal stair, but it is her decision and desire to continue climbing. This is the world in which they are living, and they should accept the adversities it brings them. Literary elements. Curiously, in his poem, Langston Hughes expands the metaphor, building up meanings around a particular idea. In this case, the metaphor of a ladder reflects the woman's complex life path and how she copes with difficulties. The physical structure of the poem connects the form with the metaphor since the lines of the text, a combination of short and long lines, reflect the shape of the stairs. The shape of the ladder is supported by the free verse and the absence of a particular rhyme. Apart from that, the topics of light and darkness may be regarded as symbols. Sometimes, the woman has to walk in complete darkness, or in the absence of light, which indicates that there have been situations when she had no hope for the better. In addition, it may be assumed that the mother was unsure of where she was going and if she was walking in the correct direction. In terms of language, the reader may notice that the speaker uses colloquial language. This is done intentionally to reveal to the reader that the woman is less educated and that her life is not perfect. It may be suggested that informal language was used as a tool to create a generalized image of people of that time who were facing oppression and wanted to warn their children about the challenges. Conclusion. Thus, it can be concluded that Langston Hughes has built the metaphor of a staircase on several levels. The powerful message that the mother conveys to her son reflects the inspirational insistence of the woman. Through her own example, she is trying to encourage her son to fight since he will inevitably encounter the difficulties inherent in an unequal society. Through the metaphor of a staircase, the poet introduces the challenges this woman has faced and reveals that she is willing to pass her endurance to her child. If you want to find more works like this essay on Langston Hughes' Mother to Son Poetry Explication, head over to ivypanda.com. It has a collection of free samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects. No registration required to access it.